Hi everyone, welcome to the video. In this one I'm going to show you how to improve performance of your front end. In this case it's RetroBat. If you've decided to symlink or move all your ROMs off onto say a NAS storage or external device, which I know a lot of people are doing as packs get bigger and bigger, especially the RGS ones. You might want to move stuff off to a NAS, which works perfectly fine, works great. I've got separate videos for both Batatera and RetroBat how to do the symlinking. Either individual folders or the whole ROMs folder. But what you find, I've got that set up here. If I quickly show you what I've got, not that one, this one here. So within my RetroBat folder, I've renamed my ROMs to .old, so I didn't have to do this for every single ROMs. It would take ages, but just to show you, I've got a single system under ROMs 3DO. And as you can see by the little symbol, this is symlinked off to my NAS box. So going to here, I've got all the normal content, all the media, the game list, etc. is in here. But just to make sure I'm not cheating, go to properties of this. You'll see that it goes off to my NAS, name of my NAS, /games, emulation, RetroBat, ROMs, 3DO. So it's definitely on the network drive. So like I say, this works perfectly fine, which I'm going to demonstrate now, which I've got open in the background. So this is a 3DO system. And see, it works fine. There is just that little bit of a delay. You can see, I mean, yeah, it works. If I try and hold down the button and scroll quickly, again, it works. But it could be better, and that's kind of the reason I put together this this little script that I'm going to show you now, how to basically move the media locally, but keep all the ROMs on the NAS drive. So for me, just for info, I am hardwired Ethernet here, gigabit connection through to a Synology NAS, which has got dual 1 gig connections, so it's all hardwired. It's not like it's Wi-Fi. If it's Wi-Fi, it might be a little bit slower again, where this might be more of interest to you as well. But basically what we're going to do is just get this out of the way. So I've got a couple of scripts here, which I'll show you in more detail here. So the idea being that, like I say, you have the ROMs folder, or whatever you want, whether it's individual ones or the whole ROMs folder, symlinked off to a NAS, but then what I want to do is have all the media, all the artwork, the boxes, the video snaps locally on the local drive, so it's quicker, rather than have to pull all that across the network, and that's where the delay comes in. So what we've got here is two scripts, and I have to do a shout out to Scott, member of the team, who's really helped me with put these together. It was a few weeks ago now, so he might have forgotten, but he did help me. But I finally got around to making a video on this because I've actually had to use it myself. I've decided to move my stuff onto my NAS. It's just got far too big to have on my local PC, so I don't want to try and get everything. So yes, we have these two scripts. So this first one does a copy. So this first CMD to launch it is just to launch the script, launch a PowerShell script, and bypass the protection, because normally by default you try to run a PowerShell script on Windows, it will complain that it's not signed, it's not a verified script. So you just launch this, it tells it to bypass that check. But this is the actual script itself. Nothing below here you should need to change. This is all just it doing its things. The bits you need to fill in are at the top here. So basically you need to tell it where your ROMs are. So as you saw a minute ago, mine's on my X drive, and that's my ROMs folder for RetroBat. And then where I want to put it, I'm going to put it obviously in the same location, but in the root of the RetroBat folder, I'm going to create a folder called _media_. And the only reason I put the underscore there is that when the folder list is sorted by name in Windows, it appears at the top of the list. So it stands out, so it's easy. But obviously you could put this wherever you want. So maybe you've got a second disk in your machine, an SSD that's nice and quick and got some space. You could point this to that location. You basically point it wherever you want, really. But yeah, as long as this points to where your ROMs are, this points to where you want the media to go. And then these options you probably don't need to change. But this is when it does the copy, it does the mirror command. So you can run the copy, and it just mirrors the source and destination. If for any reason you stop the copy, something happens, you get a power cut or whatever, you can run it again and it'll pick up where it left off and only copy the changed files. Threads you might want to change. So with RoboCopy it supports multi-threading, so basically copying multiple files at the same time. This depends on sort of your CPU power. I've left mine as 8, which I think is the default, quite conservative, but you might be able to bump up to 16 or even 32 depending on how many cores you've got on your CPU. But for now I'm just going to leave it at 8. If you want to find out what's going on and create a log file of everything that's happening, you can obviously specify here. I haven't, but you can just type in basically the path to a .log file or text file, and it will create that for you as it goes, so you can go back and have a look. And there's a couple of bits that you might want to exclude. So for me, I've excluded the manuals folder and the maps folder, which are extra bits and pieces which I don't really need. I could leave them where they are. I don't use them very often at all. I don't know if many people do, but when you scrape retro games, you can get a copy of the like a PDF copy of the manual, and any maps that might come with the game. It's, if it's a game that has a map, you have to back in the day, you got it. It's a bit of paper in the box. You unfold it out. It had a map of the whole play area. Some games had that, and some of them you can scrape a copy of that. But anyway, to save space and time, I've excluded them. But if you want to copy absolutely everything, obviously just take those out and make them look like that, just add empty brackets and it'll just copy everything. And again, this one below is if there's any certain files you've got in there for whatever reason you might want to exclude. The example is PDFs and text files, but again, I've left that blank. So that's all you really need to fill out. Like I say, most of this you could probably leave blank, leave as they are and just change the two paths at the top. So this will do the copy for us. So if we do that first, like I say, I've cleared out my ROMs folder and just left 3DO. So it should be nice and quick. I've also pre-done the copy, so this should be pretty quick. So it's this one here. Just going to double click that and do the copy. It's just gone off screen. And you can see it's done. So it's basically copying from my 3DO media folder into RetroBat _media_ and then within there 3DO media. So that's copied everything across and it's excluded those manuals and maps folders. So obviously if you did it first time, it's going to take a little bit longer. It's about 2.6 gig here for the artwork. Obviously you need to make sure you have room, or where you're copying to. Obviously the more ROMs you've got, the more space you're going to need. So yeah, but anyway, that's copied and finished. We've done that, so we can just check that. So we go into our RetroBat folder. We've got this _media folder here. Go into here, we've got 3DO media. And there's a 2D box artwork, box back, etc. So you can see in there you've literally just got the media. There's no game list, there's no ROMs or anything like that. They're all still in the normal ROMs folder here over on my NAS box. It does keep a copy of the media here as well. You could go and, if you want to, delete that. I'm keeping it there because I still want to keep a full set on my NAS. But you could tidy up and save some space there by deleting that because you've now got a copy locally. So that's the first stage, basically taking that and copying all the media locally to where we want. The next stage is to go into the game lists and actually update the path to the media. So if I open up, just show you, probably familiar with this already if you played around with Batsia and RetroBat. But you've got the game list XML file, which is basically how the system finds where the games, all the metadata, etc. So you see in here all the images, videos, thumbnails, etc. all point to /media/images, or media/video, or everything inside this media folder, which by default it's looking for inside the ROMs folder. But obviously we've just copied that. So what we need to do is go and replace all these with a new location, and that's where the second script comes in. So again, we've got a CMD file just to execute the PowerShell, and then the actual PowerShell is here. And again, there's a couple of bits to fill out yourself up the top here. So again, path to the ROMs basically uses that to go through and look at all the ROMs folders you've got, so it knows which ones to rename, because it fills in this sysname variable here with all the folders it fills. So we're basically saying look in the game list, and where you find this ./media, which is here, so where you find all these instances, I want you to replace them with this instead. So it's going to be looking, so the double dots is tells it to go back up one level, basically into the root of the RetroBat folder, then go into the media folder, then sysname, so for each folder you find in here, in our case 3DO, under that folder called media, and put that into the XML. It does a backup here as well. It will take a copy of the gamelist.xml and create a copy with the .pixen.ek on the back. So yeah, as it gives the example there. So if anything does go wrong with it, you've got a copy here you can just rename back, or if you change your mind, you've still got a copy here to move back. Then everything below is it doing all its funky stuff. I'll say big shout out to Scott for all this. Really helped with this one. So yeah, that's all you need to change. There's those bits there, really. Well, sorry, this you don't need to change. It's literally just this bit. Tell it where to look for the ROMs. So yeah, and then the game list is open here. So what we'll do, we'll run it. So I come back over here and just do the game list path. We'll run this. just gone off screen. It's quite quick. So it's telling you that it's looking under the ROMs for your game list. It's made a backup, and it's called backup that, and it's changed 3,900 lines. So quite a few lines in there. Like you say, each game's got what, around about 8-10 lines for each different type of artwork. So that's it done. So now if we go back to Notepad, and this will tell me, oh, this is up, the file's updated. Do you want to reload it? Say yes, and you can just see there now it's changed all the paths to that new path that we told it to look at. So that all means now that inside Emulation Station, if we do a update game list, now if we go in here, so we got the 3D, and hopefully you can see now how quick it is. See, I'm gonna go for as quick as I can, or hold down the key, and it's going through really quickly. Obviously, mine's just on a standard spinning hard drive, not even on SSD, and it's quite quick. But you can see now the media, I can scroll through nice and quickly. Everything comes up instantly because all the media is local. But obviously, if you choose to actually play a game, then it will be on the NAS. So all the actual sort of big storage, all the actual games are on the NAS box, whereas all the artwork is kept locally. So yeah, as you can see, that's still spinning through quite quickly, quick as I can. And obviously this theme, obviously this is one from Bob. Really nice theme. And there's a lot going on here. You're changing all the boxes, all the artwork, all the fan art in the background are fairly sizable. And then when I go to play a game, obviously it's going to launch from my NAS across the network. Also, I've got this all windowed, so it's going to launch in a window. I'll just move that down there. But it all should launch perfectly fine, he says. There you go, he's loading. I got worried then for a second. But yeah, that's it. So the game's going to load. We don't need to test the game. But this, yeah. So you can see. Hopefully, you can see how quick it is. And I guess just to demo that, what I can do is very quickly go and put back. So we're in the ROMs folder here. Go down to where the games list is. If I hit the right key. So we've got a backup file here. So this is the new one we changed or we updated. So I rename this back. So that's the original XML back to how it was. And if we look under here, it will let me know that it's modified. So I'll just refresh it. So we'll put everything back. Now if we go back to here, do another quick refresh or rescan of the update of the game lists. Go back in. So it's back to how you can see, hopefully you can see that. It's quite obvious to me. Obviously I'm the one pressing the key, so it's but hopefully you can hear me hitting the key, and it's just kind of struggling a little bit. But like I said before, it works, but it's, if you go through one at a time quite slowly, it's not really an issue. But if you like to, if you've got big lists and you want to spin through them, it can be quite slow. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful. Like I say, I did it a while ago with the help of Scott on another system I was testing on, and that's actually connected to the network via Wi-Fi, so that was really quite slow scrolling through. But I did the same thing there, copied all the artwork local, and then had the ROMs still on the NAS, and yeah, runs really well. So yeah, like I say, I'll drop all the details for these scripts in the description. I'll put them up online somewhere. You can grab a copy. But it's basically those 4 files. Oh yeah, it's changed again. So basically, yeah, those 4 files. You run the CMD to actually execute them, and you do the copy first. When the copy's finished, then use the game list media path update one, which will update everything. And just remember to make sure to fill out these, the path to your ROMs here, and then also here the path to your ROMs, but also the path to where you want it to go to, where you want all the artwork copied to. Like I say, everything else you probably keep as it is. You might want to increase the threads if you've got a lot to copy. But yeah, that's it. Like I say, hopefully useful. Any feedback welcome, and I'll catch you on the next one.